In this video, I really want to define what alcohol use disorder is, and that's actually what the official name is. It's called alcohol use disorder as opposed to alcoholism, because the connotation that comes with the word alcoholism is a lot of shame. And it's important to understand that the real meaning of the word alcohol use disorder is what it is. It's a disorder of the brain. It's actually a mental health issue. Okay, it's a mental health disease. Understanding that is the way you can approach it and begin to solve the problem. And that's why it's so much more important to call it what it actually is. Now, for those people who want to tell me that it's not a disease, it's a choice, well, all I can tell you is this, is that maybe before you make comments on my page, that you need to go get some education and an understanding. I have about as much patience for that as someone who says the earth is flat. I mean, it's comical once you realize what you're talking about. And I hope that helps. It's not to be disparaging to people who don't understand yet, but they're not at the level of understanding for this disease. And a big part of this page is for people to understand what this disease is all about and how to approach it. And the real problem is that so many people who are around an alcoholic are really involved in their own reactionary emotions, because it's a reaction to the craziness and the toxicity and the drama that alcoholism by nature creates. Okay, I can take my wife, for example, like driving through the front of the house or having 4 DUIs, putting herself and other people in harm's way. Very difficult not to have reactionary emotions as a spouse or as a family member, but that's a separate thing to what the person is going through, because alcohol for the alcoholic has become their solution to their problem. And usually it's an emotional problem, a traumatic problem. Obviously they were immersed into it culturally or through peer pressure, but there's some issue, and the alcohol has become their solution to whatever their emotional issues are in their past. And generally it develops in childhood. I mean, it can also develop situationally through divorce or losing a loved one, or some other stress or anxiety that has resulted. But generally it starts in youth. It starts in, when you're younger. And some people are born with a predisposition, a genetic predisposition. And then you tack on family culture and trauma and peer pressure. It would almost be weird if you did not become an alcoholic. Okay, I know people that have PTSD because they've been in the military, or they're a first responder or something like that. Okay, it's important to realize that and approach it in a really a clinical way. It's the best way to approach it. And to understand what's actually going on with your loved one, rather than getting all caught up in anger and frustration, because that doesn't help you, and it definitely doesn't help the alcoholic in your family. And in this vein, that's why it's so important to get the person help, the alcoholic in your family, to get them help as soon as possible, before they get to the denial, the deflection, and the gaslighting stage, before they get to the point where, oh, it's everybody else's fault, it's their parents' fault, it's their job's fault, it's the kid's fault, it's the spouse's fault, it's society's fault, before they get into that stage, before they have become, really their identities become as an alcoholic, and everything else is deflection. And the reason why they are in that stage is because everybody is confronting them with their solution, and their solution has become the alcohol. So if people in their lives want to take the alcohol away from them, it's like taking off a huge scab on their body, and it's going to expose a huge wound that's inside of them. And they don't want that. They don't want to be exposed. They don't want to have to take culpability, and they don't want to have to take accountability to something that is so deep-rooted in their person. And understanding that as a loved one is essential, and understanding what your alcoholic in your family is going through. It's also very important to understand that if you have a family member, maybe they did succumb to the disease, or that you had to leave them in a divorce or something, and I hear this all the time, well, he or she chose alcohol over me and the kids, which honestly, it's not the case. I know it looks like that on the surface, but to the alcoholic, there is no other choice than the alcohol itself. That has become their only relationship. Every other relationship, be it spouse, children, parents, friends, is secondary to the alcohol. This is the mental health disease side of it. There is no plan B. There is no other choice. There's only alcohol. So the alcoholic is not making a choice. They're going in the only direction they have, which is the alcohol. And that's hard to understand because on the surface it looks like they've just abandoned everything and everyone in their life. It's not the case. Again, it's all part of the mental health disease. Understanding that and realize it's not personal, as difficult as that is, even if you have a parent that just is abusive verbally and they leave and they're just drunk. I mean, it's their problem. Okay, and understand that it's something that they have to be responsible for. The alcoholic is 100% has to be responsible for their sobriety and their mental health. And understand, as a family member, all you can do is create boundaries. You can't change or fix that person. It absolutely has to come from the alcoholic in your family. And I really hope this is, given some kind of clarification and understanding, and so that maybe you can approach the alcoholic in your family, or if they have passed on, you have a little bit better understanding of what happened, and that it's not personal. And as family members, we have to do the same thing that the alcoholic does. We have to take care of ourselves, and we have to make ourselves a priority. And sometimes we can lose that in a relationship with an alcoholic because so much center and attention and focus is on the alcoholic. But as family members, we got to take care of ourselves too. And again, I go live Monday through Friday right around 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we have the Facebook group. It's called There's an Alcoholic in the Family. Link is in the bio. And when you're ready to work with me one-on-one, I also have the coaching program. Link is in the bio. Set up a Zoom call. It's called a breakthrough call. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour. We do a deep dive into what's going on with your family. The call is free. The coaching program definitely is not. But I'm looking for people who want to change their lives and the lives of their family. And again, thanks so much for listening.